Get to South River, I don't have a problem driving my car. As long as I can follow the dump truck. Can't follow the dump truck? Okay. Exactly. Be like, I'll do it! That's why I wrote those. All of my friends. Excuse me, come, you guys can't see, like.
Test, test. You can hear me?
Yep. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me? You can chat. All right, we're going to start in a few minutes. Just give us a few minutes to get everybody on. Not yet.
There, Scott?
Hey, Derek. Yep. I see you
Oh.
there.
Okay, good. Can you hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect.
I'm just waiting for, see where the couple other panelists are yet. I'm
Yep.
pinging them right now.
Okay, perfect.
Give me a couple minutes.
Take your time. I'm good. Hey, Tabitha.
You're unmuted.
Hey, how are you?
Hi there. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Welcome to my lair.
Yeah, Victor's coming in, but I think he did his, let me see.
We, our lair's a little under construction because they quarantined us. So we're
Yeah,
home.
that works.
So
Is that the A&A Deep Debris Boys on there? Yeah, that's them.
they muted.
Yes, we're here.
Hello.
Hey there.
You got a feedback down there.
Go in the other room.
Yeah, you guys,
No, it's not you, Derek.
is that me? Do I have feedback?
You were good, Derek. It was A&A.
Okay.
And I think Victor just joined.
Hey guys,
Hey, Victor, how you doing?
very, very good. Yourselves?
I'm doing good. We're
Awesome.
doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of Mario, find out if he was joining. There's Victor.
Hey, how you
Hey,
doing?
how's it going?
Good, good.
Awesome. See if we can find Mario real quick.
Yeah.
One more, as soon as we find him.
Give me 1 second to reach out to him.
Lost Mario. Wow.
Have you guys been outside on the roads at all?
Not today. Actually, I don't think the past couple days, but we were out there previous to that, had to run to Lowe's and pick up supplies because we're
Gotcha.
rehabbing our own house for once.
Cool.
Today's been out.
Yeah.
They've Manalapan and I forget where else. There was a couple other places. So I know they were out and about.
Nice.
So
Yeah, today was the first day outside that I went on the road. I
Yeah.
went to the office for a little bit, and I was surprised. It was definitely really much emptier than usual on the streets, but there's still a lot of cars.
Yeah.
yeah, you're in Jersey, right?
Jersey City, yes.
Yeah, I know the governor and the state attorney general made an announcement like 2 days ago that if you're not a necessary person or party
Hmm.
and you're out, they were going to arrest you and start filing charges against people that are just
Gotcha.
driving around doing nothing important. Because they're trying to get people to stay home and people aren't listening. Like we heard New York is really bad. You know, Central
Yeah.
Park's like Woodstock.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a little bit crazy like that. So
Yeah. We'll just let you know because we don't want to talk about the corona for
yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much because it's all over the place and everybody's listening to it. And I'm sure, you know, most people are kind of sick of hearing about it. It's just, you know.
We just happen to,
For sure.
you know, we run the Airbnb. So a lot of people have been asking about that. What are you doing? What can you do? Everybody's refunding. There's, you know, so we actually opened it up and we got traveling nurses there. And
Wow.
yeah, they said it's bad in New York and it just seems to be getting worse. And I seen today on my traveling nurses site,
Hmm.
list of people, guys and girls, list the whole thing, just asking to they can come and stay, but they want like the whole unit. And it's like, well, I can't give you the whole unit, but
Yeah.
it's getting bad. So get worse before it gets better.
Are you
Mario said
basically,
15.
are they still paying for, like, are you offering it like for free or a discount for them?
Yeah, it's discounted because most of their they have what is that for housing?
Reimbursement?
Housing.
Yeah,
Uh,
assistant, not assistance, but I know what you mean.
they have housing pay that they
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
and most
Housing
of them
credit.
are up to like $2,400.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a stipend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're charging way under $1,000 for them to come to stay because most of them are Staten Island. So
That's nice.
So I see we have like 18 participants on.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not, right now, it's not big. More people may jump on. So I just wanted to, Mario's not going to be on for a few, so we're going to get started.
15.
Yeah, I don't want to wait because we can get started with everybody else. And basically what we want to do is get some people together that's in the area, local experts, to give people an update of what's going on in the world right now, you know, with the coronavirus and everybody being quarantined and stock market crashing and people out of jobs and things looking bleak right now. It's going to turn at some point, just when. So we wanted to bring some people in to talk about what they're specifically seeing in their area, how it's impacting them or not impacting them, but what people are going to need to do to adapt to what's going on and what they might see going forward. So first, we're going to have A&A Debris come on. They're one of the vendors. Let them talk about themselves for a quick minute. So I
So
guess
the owner's
Ashley,
there?
is that Ashley there? Ashley and Anthony?
Yes.
All right, so just, talk about yourselves for a quick minute.
Hi, obviously A&A. I'm sure you guys know we're the demo and debris removal. Take care of all of your housing needs when you're doing the cleanups and tearing downs. Hope everybody's healthy right now and holding in and holding up and staying in their houses, trying not to get sick. We do want to let you guys know we are still out and about doing work. We have been, as Mom had said earlier, running around doing jobs, trying to get everybody moving forward still past all of this. So if you guys still need work done on any of your projects or even your personal house, since you're locked inside, don't be afraid to give us a call. We'll still come out and help you.
So let me ask you guys, when you do go to a site, how are you showing up and talking to the customer right now?
As of right now, we don't really see our customers too much, but when we do see them, we still interact with them just like it's normal. We do take precautions. Like I do wear gloves all the time, so that's one big thing.
And how about masks and stuff?
Yeah, we do use masks. We have hand sanitizer and everything. We're pretty much ready to go at all times.
So, has work slowed down at all? Have you been getting as many calls as you were getting before this hit?
We're still getting the same amount of calls. The only thing that's slowing down is having the problems with getting the permits and stuff like that for demo jobs. A lot of the offices aren't answering their phones or emailing back or not caring to talk to anybody, I guess. So everyone's having a lot of problems with that, I know.
When you say offices, what do you mean by the offices?
Like the townships and everything that do like the permits and stuff like that.
So where you fill out the application for your permits and the code enforcers and the inspectors, have you guys talked with any towns about procedures, what people need to do, how you schedule your inspections? Are they doing inspections?
No, we have not talked to any towns yet. Because the people that were trying to get permits are doing that themselves. So we haven't had the opportunity to call, but we were thinking about calling just to see what the process is now.
Yeah, because what we're seeing is a lot of towns their offices aren't open in person. A lot of phones aren't being answered. I don't know if emails are working or if they have things online to fill out apps and request inspections. So those are things that I think are what are supposed to be occurring, but I don't think right now they're actually functioning fully for most towns because they weren't prepared for this. And if they weren't online fully, then they're probably not up to par. So are you guys planning on reaching out to the towns at all directly or just dealing with your clients?
Oh no, like I just said, we were thinking about calling one or two townships just to see what their processes are. For the demo jobs that we're trying to get started because they're trying to do it. So we're going to see if we can get it done faster.
So basically what you're saying is you're going to go and apply for the permits for the demo work for your client instead of the client going in and trying to apply themselves because you guys are licensed and registered. So you have the ability to do that for people instead of them trying to do it themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So that kind of eliminates one of the steps for you guys. Some of the other people out there may have a little bit more difficult time because they're trying to do like the GC work themselves and trying to get all the permits in line for everything that needs to be done on the project. You could take that off their hands. And of course, if it's work that doesn't need a permit, you can still just come out to the job site and, would you prefer not to have people there and just have pictures sent, or how would you prefer to do like clean outs and cleanup jobs?
With cleanouts and everything like that, I'd prefer to go out to the job site and see what it is before we go. I don't want anybody really being there because I don't know what's going on. Because there are people that are just not caring about it and going out sick. I'm not trying to get sick because the people around me can get really bad sickness from it. So, I'd rather just me go out there or them sending me pictures and me trying to do the best I can through the pictures.
Yeah, I was just looking at somebody posted something in the chat. Hi, Kimberly. So, yeah. So I think it's key to just keep a distance from people. If you interact, then, it's kind of the standard of what everybody's doing right now, following guidelines by what the governor and federal people are telling us and CDC and all. So I don't know if I have any more questions for you guys. Any of the panelists have questions for him?
I guess so. If you're not able to get permits, are you guys I'm assuming some people are out there just doing stuff since you can't get permits, and just taking a chance on that.
If we can't get permits and like the person can't get permits, then we'll just have to get the job done as quickly as possible without being noticed.
Yeah.
Some people can't put their life on pause because of this, and we know that. So,
Right.
We'll just do it as quickly and quietly as possible.
Yeah, I get it.
Get in, get out. I get it.
Yeah.
So one of the
Nice to
things,
have the truck, right?
Yeah.
so one of the things, this is Derek Logan, I'm with Villa Home. And one of the things that I noticed actually when you're in with the debris removals and so forth is that the banks are actually still actively sending contractors out. So, and I could tell you one in general that's looking for some good contractors. I'm just passing on some information to you. So look into MCS, you guys. And but work is still going on, and you have to take some serious precautions, obviously, especially with your employees or people that are working for you on the job. So, make sure they're all wearing masks, make sure they're wearing gloves, make sure they're keeping a good social distance from each other. And, if anyone's sniffling or feeling sick, send them home.
All right. Yeah.
And keep that name, MCS. MCS. Go online and apply. They're ready.
I wrote it down. I got my little notebook here.
All right.
I got my
So yeah, that's what I was going to ask you guys too. With your workers, how are you working with them? When you go to the job site, what is your plan, and how are you working with them? I know you have gloves, you're going to wear masks, but how do you interact with your employees while you're at the job site?
Talk to them at a distance. Make sure they're not. If, like he said, if they're like sniffling, coughing, sneezing, then I'm just going to tell them, like, maybe you should not be here right now with us and head home and see what happens. But as of right now, we're just kind of keeping a distance between each other, working in different spots.
Doing what we can.
Okay.
No, it's
Hey,
getting
Scott,
hard to find that
Scott,
Yeah.
it's not an easy business they're in. It's definitely a business that, you have to actually be out there and with your hands, it's a physical type job and it's not easy at all, so I applaud you guys for what you're doing. Just make sure you take the proper safety precautions and, whatever issues you're having, because we're having the same issues with the townships, because in order to sell homes, you have to have certificates of occupancy in order for for it to actually go through. So, they understand that at the townships, and they probably should be working. Hopefully you can speak to them about working with you, to get some of these jobs done, especially if they're jobs you're in the middle, because they may even tell you, well, you just have to put those jobs off. But some of these jobs you just can't. You got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, take the proper precautions and try and talk with them, and maybe you can work with them closely, because I know they're working with the real estate community right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So, all right. So We'll put A&A debris on hold for now. They'll still be online with us for questions later on or during the sessions, and we'll bring up Derek Logan from Villa Home.
I think I might have talked my way into that.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
that's all right, because I have questions for you anyway, but you can explain to people on the call if they don't know you, who you are, what company you
Okay.
work for. What
So
you
my name is Derek Logan. I'm also known in New Jersey as Alfonso Derek Logan. I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey and the state of New York as a licensed real estate agent. My specialty happens to be REO properties and foreclosures. I've been at that for a long, long time. So I've seen the curves, the ups and downs. Have I ever seen anything like this? The answer is no, I have not. This is unique. It's different. It's going to be challenging for everybody, especially not just, I mean, for the whole country. It's going to be a huge challenge, and we're learning new ways of working. And it's actually, this is a very good time, I feel, to actually use your time wisely. So even if you're not, even if you don't have a job to go to, but actually there's a lot of opportunities for education out there. I'm taking advantage of a lot of that, studying for my broker's test, looking to advance my career, taking some REO classes. So that's one of the things that that our management talks about quite a bit, is like being engaged, just staying involved and being engaged. And that's important, because if we're not engaged, we don't know what's going on except for what someone is telling us, And I took a couple of subjects. I don't know whether you want me to dive in, or how you want to run this seminar, I guess. Is that what you're doing?
Well, we'll have you talk about that in a few minutes. What I wanted to ask you is, because you deal with bank homes, you don't have owners living in them, correct?
That's
or do you have houses where you still have people in them that you have to get evicted, kind of?
That is the difference. That is the difference, is that you're not necessarily dealing with the general public, to a sense, to a degree. Then on the other end, we are in dealing with people that want to purchase those homes, so the investors, and obviously there's moratoriums going on here in New Jersey. Just to speak to one, evictions, very important, because it doesn't get to be a vacant home unless somebody either moves out, or we do a cash for keys, which they've actually put kind of a freeze on the cash for keys situations through the banks, or they become evicted. And a lot of the properties that I get actually get to that particular stage where there's an eviction needed and required. New Jersey, in terms of evictions, there is a freeze on evictions and foreclosures. Actually, Governor Murphy declared an indefinite moratorium on any evictions, or basically the removal of people from any foreclosed homes. So that was not happening. Not only that, there was an executive order. Besides the state of New Jersey, there was an executive order that was passed through last Thursday. It was passed in the Assembly, and we talk about bipartisan. It actually got through the Assembly, 60 votes. There were a few against it, but then it passed in the Senate, 34, no opposed. So, that made it very bipartisan. What is going on is that the courts are not taking any court. In other words, you can file a motion in court to evict, or you can be heard actually in court. That doesn't mean that the judge is going to pass an order to evict. And so they're not going to authorize any type of evictions unless it is in the interest of justice. So what that means is that there will be no evictions unless, you know, you're like a drug dealer or something like that, and you're running a criminal enterprise out of the home. Then they'll take action. So what it pretty much means is that there's not going to be many evictions going on. Fannie and Freddie suspended their evictions for 60 days. Now, Fannie and Freddie is like half the country's loans, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got 50–60% of all the loans are back through Fannie and Freddie. So what that tells you is that there's not going to be many evictions. Now, once Fannie and Freddie does that, everyone else is going to pretty much follow. All the other mortgage providers and banks and so forth are going to pretty much follow suit. So we know 60 days, that's 2 months, could go longer than that. And most likely, if things don't change the way we want them to change, then yes, we will go longer. So what does that mean to us, and especially investors that are out there? It means that the pipeline is going to fill up, you know. So we're going to wind up seeing a backlog, and then there's going to be a rush to get these, you know, to get those properties back out of the pipeline. Luckily for me and luckily for my company, Villa, we do have a pipeline that already exists. Now, there's a certain amount of properties that are in the eviction process, and in that process, they're going to pretty much sit still. I have a few properties that are actually on the market right now, and some that are actually just became vacant. I actually, for the first time, really took two regular listings, which is not really my end of the market, but my team actually is working on those particular listings. Traditional real estate, as a matter of fact, I took a listing on Sunday. Traditional real estate. Who would have thunk it? But it's happening. So, in other words, business will go on. We just need to adjust and find different ways of doing business. You know.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you go to the client's house and get the listing like usual?
No. And actually, the real estate community, and that's my wife just walked in.
Hi, wife.
And walked out. She's probably telling me I need to come to dinner or something. But anyway, the way that we're doing business is everything's online. So that includes signing listing agreements. There's no reason for us to be face to face. You know, everything that you need to discuss can either be discussed on the phone or through email. So, you know, what we're doing now, and we've been doing this industry has been doing this for a long time. So that's not anything new. You know, what is new is that we're unable to really show these properties the way that we used to. So what we've been doing is there's a big uptick. Now, let's forget about evictions because we know what the pipeline is going to happen with that. But there's a big uptick with online video conferencing and online video doing tours. You know, so tours of the home. You know, and even open houses now are going to be virtual open houses. What do you know? Now that's actually good for a lot of that's actually good for the traditional real estate market as well as the foreclosure market, because if these investors do not want to come out and they don't want to go into properties, we can actually show it to them, you know, and show the properties to them. And through video, I believe it's gonna change the industry from the way that we see it, you know, because of the coronavirus and because of what's happening now. People are gonna get the opportunity to really see what online business, how you can accomplish online business, and it might change the way real estate is done. That's my take on it, and I like it. We're going to see how it works. But so far, I've And just speaking on foreclosures so far over the weekend, I've had 3 or 4 properties that were in, and you guys know I do a lot of business with online auctions. And the auction companies don't care because, you know, they don't have to visit the properties. They don't have to see. All they got to do is sell it, and they sell it online. And it was really incredible to see how the offers that came in and the bidding process, how high the bids were so far, that how far over list price they were. And then some of the people actually backed out. So that goes to tell you that there is a problem, there is an issue, and the issue is usually money. You know, who has cash? Cash is going to be king right at the moment. You know, especially with these foreclosures. You know, they're going to want to get them in, get them out, and get them off the rolls. You know.
Right. So what you're seeing is that the auction people aren't. I don't think they're doing due diligence or paying attention as much as they need to. Maybe they're not seeing the property because of the virus, and they're just doing a visual online.
Doing a visual online.
Pay.
I think investors may ask the question. Well, you can actually, when you're doing a video online with an investor, you got to show them where the repairs are going to be. You know, so now doesn't mean that you have to size it up for them. You know, but you need to help them to get to the point where they can understand where the repair value would be. But there's nothing like seeing the property. And the good thing about a foreclosure property is that it's empty, and providing whether we're allowed to go out and show these properties, you know, that's all has to do with how strict this shutdown is going to be. As a matter of fact, I just got something from Zome today. I got an email from Zome, and Zome is saying it sent us out an essential business letter. In other words, they're looking at REO agents and people that do inspections and foreclosures and property maintenance as being essential business partners. And they sending us out, they gave us a letter to that effect. And you know, whether you're looked upon by the authorities that way or not, that's a different story. But that's where they're going. And I see that, and we, in a sense, we are essential because those properties are vacant. Somebody has to make sure that they're secured. Somebody has to make sure that there's no flooding, actually they're at risk for fires, they're at risk for vandalism. So somebody has to make sure that that the properties are managed properly. So if you don't go outside to see it for yourself, then then obviously it's a mystery to us all. So I'm still attending to whatever issues my properties may have. I'm still doing tasks for the banks. You know, it's limited. You gotta use your head. But I'm still in the business. We're still doing what we do. You know, I think another key thing, there's a lot of key things that I kind of jotted down. I don't want to take too much time. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that.
I think for now, we'll switch over to
Q&A.
Yeah, we'll have some Q&A later.
Okay.
Mario walked away for a minute, so what I'll do is I'll bring on Victor. Let Victor talk about his company and what he does. I mean, I've known Victor for a long time,
There he is.
so I'll let Victor jump on quick. And,
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Victor Ng. I'm one of the owners of Clear Skies Title. We're a title agency that's based out of Cranford with offices in Jersey City and Edison. And I guess when you asked me on today to speak in this panel, I pretty much just kind of gathered the most common questions that people are asking us at the moment. I think that's kind of like the purpose that you guys had in mind. Probably the main question I get right now is, are you guys still open? Can you still do closings? And I guess reality is that things for our industry have changed so much in the last 2 weeks. For a while, we're like, man, all the counties are starting to close. We'll be able to record stuff. And if we can't record stuff, that means we can't insure it. And then we got that problem solved. And then a new one pops up. But that's just to give you a small glimpse of, I guess, our reality right now. But fortunately, our industry has been very adaptive and very quick to change. So it's really helped us to continue to do business. So I guess the first question, just to address that one, is are you still able to do enough sufficient research in order to ensure title? So obviously, a big part of what we use to ensure is the county searches. So we actually have searchers that go into the county courthouses and they're checking property records, checking for deeds, mortgages, liens, judgments, stuff like that. And contrary to common belief, a lot of that stuff is not online. We really depend on the searchers who are physically in the courthouses still. I know some states are way more advanced than us, but in New Jersey, I thought we would be 100% online like a decade ago, but that just didn't happen. Until last week, most of the counties were still open. They started to close their doors to the public. So just a random person can't go in and check their own property records. They basically had this pretty arbitrary rule that said if you're not a regular searcher, you're not allowed to come into the courthouse. So for us, our searchers do this full time, so they're able to continue doing searches. But then as of, that every day, it seemed like one more county was closing. And as of today, there's only, I see Bergen has limited access. Union is open 2 days a week, 5 people max at a time for 4 hours a day. And then another one is by mail request only. So that goes to show that how much has changed and how difficult our job has become. Fortunately, a lot of stuff has moved online. A lot of those records do have gaps in them, so we have to be very careful. Like, for example, Monmouth County releases for mortgages is like missing for like a decade. Bergen County has like some images that are not available. Don't want to bog you with the details, but it's not 100%. They also don't go back far enough for us to ensure purchases. For a purchase transaction in New Jersey, we have to go back a minimum of 40 years in order to insure. So most counties don't really go back 40 years. So that puts us in a tough bind. Fortunately for us, refinances, which are super hot right now, we just have to go back to the current owner. So that has been pretty, I guess, the bright spot for us. So for purchases, the only way we can really insure at this point and allow transactions to still close is if the seller is able to provide a title policy for when they bought the property. As you can imagine, maybe just the people in this room or in this chat group, how many of you guys kept your title policies when you buy your house? We found that that's a very, very small percentage. Yeah, so most people, they never, maybe even didn't even get it. And that does happen. So that's been a challenge for us. We have ways to ask, we can ask around, we can try to look at your previous deed on public record and see if there's clues. Sometimes they mention attorney, sometimes they mention a title company, but it is a slow process. So if someone doesn't have a title policy, it's probably going to delay your closing. The second question that we get is, what about, are you still able to do closings with, what's going on? People are scared, they don't want random strangers coming to their house. People are afraid to go out and these are all real questions. So yes, the answer is yes, we still do closings. We're of course more careful than ever, just like a lot of everyone else has been saying. We make sure that our closers have gloves and masks. People have asked us to do these quote unquote drive-through closings. And what does that really mean? So basically for us, that means that we, in advance, go through the closing documents with them over the phone. We email it in advance to them. And then if they have questions, we answer it over the phone then. And then when the actual closing comes, our notary still has to go to physically your place. And this is for refinances. We pass the documents to you through your door. You fill out the documents to the best of your ability, and you pass the documents back. Our guy is waiting in his car. He goes through the documents to make sure you signed, and that is the closing at this time. It's kind of crazy.
Drive-through closings.
Yeah, drive-through closing, that's great.
Yes.
Nice.
Victor, can you do online? Do you do online closings?
Yeah, so that is unfortunately still legal in New Jersey. At this point, it feels like it's more of a semantic. I mean, we are pretty much almost doing online closings. As you've heard, we're pretty much going through the documents over a chat or over the phone now, and only having them sign documents in person. And we might not even touch them or be in the same room as them. But really, what it comes down to is there's in every acknowledgement section for where the notary stamps, there's a line that says personally appear before me. And basically what New Jersey is saying that if the person did not personally physically appear before me, then this document is not a real
Valid.
document. Yes, and the county
Now-
recorder will not record it.
Now, what about COs? What about the certificates of occupancy, or are they issuing, or any of the townships issuing letters to allow you to close?
No, so I guess that's not really a title issue, although we kind of get looped in to that process.
Right.
But what we've seen, probably Mario knows more about this, but what we've seen is that people are just kind of taking a risk in some townships, closing without the CO, signing letters of indemnity saying that after when things return to normal, that if there's fines, the seller will pay for them, and the seller will still work on fixing all issues to get the CO. And then some townships have been more proactive, and they started to waive all CO fines. So that's pretty much what we've seen so far.
Do you see virtual closings coming in the future?
Yes. So in some states, it's already happened. In New Jersey, it was something that we would imagine would happen in like a couple of years from now. But basically, it sped through the House and the Senate, and now it's already, as of a few days ago, it's reached the governor's desk, and all he needs to do is approve it. And usually, there's a 90-day waiting period for it to be implemented for something like this. But if he fast tracks it or steps in, it can happen much faster than that. And I think we're already bracing that it could happen any day, and that would be huge for us.
No, yeah, because then you don't have to have the guy sitting in the car passing papers back and forth through a door.
Exactly.
So it's just my thing is going to be, for right now, the delay is just kind of doing the title search itself, making sure the documentation's there. And it's kind of difficult if the places aren't open.
Yep.
I don't know with the email situation, what that looks like for you guys. Like you send an email to request to go in and do a search, or it's just you give it to them and they're going to pull the information for you. How does that work?
No. So yeah, I mean, with most counties, it's just completely closed. So we just have to go online and do our own searches. Again, with taking into consideration, there might be some gaps and they don't go back far enough in a lot of cases for purchases. So we really need the seller's side to be cooperative and provide previous title policies.
Okay. So if they don't have that, is there a way you can do like a close and backtrack the insurance, say for like maybe 60 or 90 days, where you can actually get into the courthouse to get the information in?
That sounds super risky. Short answer is no. I mean,
Okay,
if there's a major issue,
hey.
yeah, no, I appreciate the creativity. We need more of that.
I'm just trying to
but-
think like,
Outside the
what
box.
people are
If
going to
it was,
ask, because if they can't provide, like I bought my house 22 years ago. If I don't have my title information, how am I going to get it? I have to go to the
Right.
courthouse just like you. I can't get it. So then we can't close because I can't provide that to you, right? So
Yeah, it's really
then
tough.
we're going to have to push the closing off till I can go or you can go and get it.
For sure. Or if you're lucky, like again, we can look on your deed, and there are usually clues on there as to
Yeah.
which your title company was, or at least who your attorney was. And then we can reach out to them, and hopefully they'll help us out.
Hopefully they're still in business.
Hopefully they're still in business. But usually all we really need to contact is an underwriter. And underwriters,
Okay.
usually don't go out of business. There's only a couple in the last few decades that have gone out of business, but.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just asking that because I know there's people out there asking like, how am I going to do a close if I don't have title and they can't get into the courthouse?
For sure. It's going to happen. There's going to be some deals that won't be able to close.
Like
That's the reality.
even with the virtual, you're still going to have to get that documentation regardless. It just makes it easier for you because you don't have to be there doing the physical paperwork.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So let that be a lesson to always save your documents.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah, now you tell me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, people who are closing now, make sure that you're paying attention to what we're talking about so
Yeah.
that going forward, you have that information.
Digital
Yes.
records. You can keep it on digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just a
Flash
matter of
drive.
having it. So,
For sure.
You want Mario on?
okay. For now, Victor, I'm going to put you on hold. And I
Sure.
know Mario's itching. He wants to get on here. One-
I'm itching for things to turn around and hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring Mario on for a couple reasons because Mario isn't just a lender. Mario is multitasking, multifunction company. And from his perspective, he can come and he has information on two different pieces that people need to know about. So I want to talk to him, one about his lending company and two about from his landlord perspective.
Yeah, and more than ever, both of those worlds are coming together, right? last weekend, the bonds market took a big hit. It's being felt by everyone in the industry. It's really a game changer for. It's really a nationwide issue, if you want to call it an issue at this point. It's going to be affected. It's gonna take a toll on a big portion of real estate investors here in New Jersey. So let's just start with the lending side of things, because the residential side of things is yet to be here. Frankly, we're expecting it about a week out from now, specifically the second quarter. So we're looking at April 1st as being the next big problem. So what we have right now, if I can, and look, I'm not here to paint a doomsday scenario or anything along those lines. I just have to know these things because it's the line of business I'm in. And we do own a substantial portfolio. So both of these worlds have to be very clear to me. So what we're dealing with is, if I can put it in a nutshell, we're resetting. We're hitting the reset button. I believe we're going back to 2012 in many ways. From a lending standpoint, all bets are off, right? Wall Street is out, or for now. Wall Street got scared, and Wall Street does not want to come in. So what does that do for lending? Well, it's specifically, I'm talking hard money lending here, commercial paper. What we're dealing with is a market that was in many ways recreated by the influx of Wall Street into Main Street. This took place for over the last 6 years, solid 7-8 years. More and more companies came into the arena, and it really shifted the hard money lending industry. It lowered pricing. It changed. It made, from a qualification standpoint, I mean, it really loosened up the guidelines as to who can actually flip a house, or worse, right? Or better, build the ground up, or own an apartment building. It really rewrote the rules of engagement back then to a point where the entry barrier was quite simplistic in many ways. This allowed, obviously, a flood of new investors, of a growth for current investors, and really just an overall really good party. Party's over. The game just changed, and it changed so quickly and so drastically that at this particular point, it's really survival of the fittest from a lending standpoint. 80% of the lenders, you guys know, hard money again, are out already. Some of the biggest companies in the US are closed. What does this do for the investor, right? What does this do for us? Again, it brings us back to, I believe, somewhere between 2011 to 2012, somewhere where things were recovering, but we're not recovered yet. The rules of engagement to borrow from a hard money lender were a lot tougher and a lot more expensive. We used to, until recently, look back at time and make fun of the 14 and 4 times, right? Yeah, we're back there already. We're back at a 14%, 12 to 14% interest rate, 4 points to who knows where this is going to go. The rental market specifically. So let's talk about that one for a little bit, because that was a very fast and aggressive growing mortgage market that was literally wiped out overnight, completely gone. Last weekend, Monday, Wall Street woke up to incredible fear. Fear that local governments, the federal government can mandate things like you can't foreclose on someone or you can evict someone. These were fears that in many ways were not accounted for within risk levels and risk assessments. And when it happened, it really literally destroyed that market. to a point where the idea of a mortgage under an LLC for rental purposes is really a business that, as of right now, just went back to the banks. You're really not gonna have anyone in this space lending for rentals on LLC, unless somehow their portfolio in 30-year loans, which again, it's not really a market. This market was driven by the fact that these loans were cash flowing, being bundled and being resold in massive quantities. That's why this worked. That's why this existed. That train literally left this week. So, I mean, first of all, heads up on that, right? If you have big plans of building a large rental portfolio, it's time to reassess how you're going about it and what type of funding you're actually going to be able to get to get it done. The private world, the commercial paper world for that product is pretty much gone. And it'll more than likely be gone for a little while. And whatever comes back, if it does ever come back, I believe the format will be a little bit different. For that matter, amongst those, we also have ground up. The ground up new construction financing or lending market, again, vanished. There are potentially some lenders that will be willing to take that type of risk. At this particular point, most of the market won't. So if you're dealing with ground up new construction, you really need to go to a bank because no one else has it really out on the open for people to take advantage of it. It's a highly risky product. So that's on those two. The landscape on fix and flip, quite drastic. At this point, the bigger issue that we have, guys, really is because of what happened to commercial backed securities over last weekend. There is really no, and I've spoken to a few appraisers about this. There is really no valuations. Values are in disarray, in complete chaos. The house that you bought last week for $300,000 is worth around $250,000 right now. And more than likely by the 1st to the 5th to the 10th of next month, it'll be worth $200,000. You can't justify lending on fluctuations that drastic within 2 to 3 weeks, within a month. So the bigger problem at a higher level that we're dealing with from a market standpoint is there are no values. We don't know what things are worth at the moment. We know what the realtors are listing things for. Most of them are not selling. The market, guys, has come to a standstill in many ways. What the fix and flip landscape is going to look like is it's quite scary. And this is what we're seeing right now. Needless to say, as liquidity comes back into the markets, these numbers and these terms will change, will improve. But as of right now, no lender really wants to get into something that, frankly, it's worth less by the time it leaves the parking lot, right? So it's quite a challenging time. The terms are dropping. I believe once it's all said and done, the idea of anything under a 650 to 680 FICO is an illusion. I don't think house flippers will be as able to qualify for these things unless their FICO is 650 plus, 680 plus. Really, I mean, right now it's a 680. I think 20% down loan to cost, so 20% down on the entire loan is going to become the new standard. Not 10 on the purchase price. I think the 10% down on the purchase price and 100% in renovations package is gone, and gone probably for a while. I think the new standard will become back what the old standard was, right? 20% down. Rates, Jesus Christ. I've gotten a lot of phone calls. I mean, this week was a little less, but last week I got a lot of phone calls from borrowers asking for what I believe I would be asking for as well. You know, any type of reduction, any type of help. And yeah, I mean, we're extending it to borrowers. But the second set of questions was, well, you know, since interest rates went down, can we do better? And, you know, it's a double-edged sword because the reality is no, there's absolutely no better than last week. In fact, it's way worse. And by next week, it's probably going to be worse. Look, think about this. My average interest rate last year was in the 7.5 is the lowest we've gone. Right now, I'm hearing interest rates from other lenders who are just scavenging the business right now because no one is willing to take the risk except for a few guys. They're charging 14%. So we're back at 14% already. I mean, that's literally double, almost double what we were charging last week. So the landscape is changing very fast, very aggressively. From an investor standpoint, from a buyer standpoint, look, and we can talk about opportunity when times get like this all you want, and I'm looking after it. Right now, though, and I mean last week, this week, and probably the first week of next month, or at the very least until the 5th, the 7th of April, don't buy anything. There shouldn't be any buys. No one should be buying. I mean, you're buying something that is priced and spinning out of control. You're literally buying something that's worth potentially a lot less by the week after. So when things settle a little bit, when the dust settles, hopefully what we see April 1st is not what the market's expecting. Hopefully the market's completely wrong. Hopefully, the default rates that are expected to come are not what they believe they're going to be. But truth of the matter is that, if you want to win in an environment like this, you really got to prep for the worst. And if the worst is what's to come, we're nowhere near out of this. In fact, this starts for us April 1st. So again, I'm not, those, you guys have known me for a while, but by the way, I hope all you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's healthy. I know these are crazy freaking times that, I can barely stay home, but, and I'm not here to paint any type of doomsday scenario. I'm not, and I hope I swallow my words, and I hope I'm wrong about everything that I just said. I hope come April 1st, everybody pays their mortgages and we're all happy. But truth of the matter is, things don't look that way. From a projection standpoint, none of this looks good. So what to do now? You do exactly what you're supposed to do in times of chaos, or at least real estate chaos is sort of the only financial vehicle that I've ever experienced chaos in. You do nothing. You relax, you breathe, you change perspective, you think of something else, and you wait it out. You don't make any rash decisions. You don't sell out. You don't sell your properties. If you got to make cuts, I mean, from a business standpoint, if you got to make cuts within your infrastructure, make them. But for the most part, you don't buy more. You don't borrow more. You don't do anything. You sit back and watch this come in and hopefully leave quickly. B, you sit back and watch it all fall apart. Point is, you really don't come back until later on. So for now, what am I doing from on the buying side is exactly that. I'm recollecting my thoughts. I'm re-strategizing. I'm figuring out exactly how I'm gonna come out on top. So that brings me to the landlord inside. Well, we're being proactive. First and foremost, I believe being proactive, especially when it comes to tenants, is one of the single most important things, rules to have. You dictate the rules before they dictate them, right? And And if you let time go by, they'll call the shots, not you. So what we're doing is we are, and again, I'm basing this on the idea that April 1st is around the corner, and I'm gonna see a lot of blood. So what we're doing is we're picking some of our better tenants, the ones that have paid the longest, the ones that have been with us the longest, the ones with the least amount of defaults, of delays, the ones that appreciate us and we appreciate them. I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but not every tenant is a great individual. And they think the same of us. So point is though, we're cherry picking, kind of like what we're doing with the lending company. We're cherry picking our borrowers, we're cherry picking our tenants, and we're giving them vouchers. We're letting them know that as long as a rent keeps on steady, where they can reduce their rent on average about $200 to $300 a month over the next 90 days. It comes in a fancy little piece of paper that says, you know, you're a great guy, and therefore here's your $300 discount. I wish I could tell you guys it works. I mean, it's worked in the past when I didn't want to lose a tenant for reason A or B. This is a little bit different. This is, you know, there's a lot of letters going out, and I'm dealing with a lot more people. So I don't know how deep the thought of missing rent has been embedded within the brains of America yet. But I believe that by taking that action, I should be able to deflate or at least hold back a portion of the people that would have otherwise defaulted. I don't have a huge Section 8 portfolio. In fact, most of my tenants are market rent. So I'm not counting on the government to cut that check. Although in times like this, it's probably a good thing, given the fact that, you know, the government is just pumping money out. But most of my tenants are market rate tenants, which, and most of them are blue collar workers. So, yeah, you know, I'm expecting a big portion, somewhere around a third, about 33% of all these tenants to default. That being said, I believe my precaution move will probably bring that down to about 25%. One way or the other, this is the time to conserve as much as you can. Don't overspend, don't overfix, don't over repair. Attend to your tenants, because ultimately rentals will get you through a mess like this, without a doubt. But that only works when your tenants are able to A, and are willing to B, pay. As this goes on, I suggest you know, share information with your tenants about any type of aid that they can get. I mean, $2 trillion is a lot of money. This is going to trickle down in multiple ways. So as business owners, I mean, that's another thing that you guys might want to consider. Look into the SBA. The SBA has programs for all kinds of people. And us as employers, we fall under that. And these are the times when, you know, the government is being proactive. They are reacting before the mess starts. So let's hope that actually, you know, helps us out a little bit better than last time, than 2008.
Right.
But this is one of those times when we just, you know, we tighten up our belts and we lay in the cut. You know, we sit back and literally try to take it easy. You know, you can break your head wholesaling houses. You can break your back, you know, doing the realtor work, selling houses, or title for that matter. But truth is that our industry right now is frozen in many ways. This is a time to sit back and watch the, excuse my French, the S show. Stand strong, collect as much rent as you can. If you're in the middle of rehabbing, you really gotta have a serious look at your pipeline, and assess how to cut down expenses. So in other words, like one of the things I'm doing on the residential rent on the rehab pipeline is exactly that. Is there are properties that we just bought. And we're talking about a pipeline with 26 houses. There are luckily most of those, or a big portion of those, are under contract. They're closing. They're moving. So some of those seem to be moving. We have 3 closings last week. We have 2 more next week. My fear is on properties that are either in the middle of work or properties that we haven't started yet. So what we're doing on properties that we haven't started yet is we're shifting our rehab budgets a little bit. Instead of making glamorous, single family houses, we're shifting to the rental product a little bit. To the rental strategy a little bit. And we're fixing them up and we're looking for tenants. Temporary tenants. I'm in a market where I can actually swing 6-month tenancy or using an occupancy tenancy on month-to-month basis. So that's one of the ways that I suggest you guys fill the gap, so to speak. If you have anything that you can create cash flow out of it or income out of it, this is the time to do that. If there's anything that you own with banks, again, $2 trillion last night, right? Or this morning, a big portion of that went to your happy banker or is accessible to your banker. Whether they draw from it or not, whether they take it from or not, it's not going to change the fact that 50% of the borrowers they have are calling them right now, telling them about not making that payment on April 1st. If you're dealing with banks, I suggest at some point you do the same.
Make that call.
That they are aware that you're calling. They have the money to back you because the government just gave them a ton, and they're supposed to do it. So and I'm not by no means, look, I'm a lender, right? So I'm not telling you to go default on your loans and they call you back and tell you you're out. Like, no, be proactive. Their payments are still coming. However, there's going to be, look, what I'm doing on mine, and that's should be the best way to go about this. I haven't called any of my bankers yet, but I am waiting for April 1st. I do want to know, or to the 5th, I do want to know what kind of cash flow I end up getting, how many of my tenants are defaulting. And those are the facts that I want to bring to my bank. In other words, like, I don't want to just, call them freaking out and telling them that I'm losing it. No, not at all. Like, get your facts straight. Understand how this actually affected your pipeline. And pick up the phone, have a conversation. Conventional banks, credit unions, they're all getting some of this money, and the quicker you reach out, the better you're probably going to be. The 90 days forbearance thing is it's going to become almost like a standard of continuing business during these times. So what else can I tell you guys? It's freaking crazy in here. I can't even say out there. I'm not out there.
So Mario, you're not what you were just talking about it, and one of my questions was going to be how are you going to handle it with your lender on your rental properties? But like you said, you're going to wait until after this month's payments are due, rents are due, see how much you collect from your people to then approach them at that point.
Correct. Look, I might be wrong, right? They might all pay.
Yeah, but
This month.
They might pay right now. We don't know where it's going. Everybody's looking for that $1,200 check coming in as well. On top of that, which, what are they going to do next month? It's only going to cover this month, right? But that was going to be my question. Like, what would your approach be to your bank as a landlord? You can't evict your tenants. They're not making money. None of this is anybody's fault, really. It's, as happens.
Yeah.
It's trying to handle the situation the best we can as landlords and as people in general. Like, you have to communicate with your lender, obviously. And, I guess, would the forbearance issue work with a commercial, or is that strictly for residential properties?
So far it's for residential.
Okay.
What's gonna help the commercial paper is some of the other part of the stimulus. So there's a chunk in there for the SBA. the SBA is proposing, to fill gaps on future revenue. So, what more than likely is going to end up happening is banks, most banks, regular banks will give you the forbearance. Most commercial lenders will have, depending on who actually owns that paper at that point, should be able to help you out. Problems begin
Plus Victor.
when this paper is sold off already, and owned by, I don't know, 1,000 people in very small increments. So it's going to be more difficult for commercial paper for you to rework your terms. I mean, I just spoke with someone, not one of our borrowers. He had borrowed from another local company, and what this company is doing is, it's crazy. I mean, they're taking their monthly payments from this guy, from his budget, from his scope of work, and that's their method of resolving this.
Yeah.
So there is no set method on commercial paper, is what I'm saying. Like it's really going to boil down to who that lender is and what they can and cannot do. How greedy they are too. I mean, that's another.
And then also Mario, you also got to remember that that it's called forbearance and it's not called forgiveness.
Yeah.
So eventually, somewhere down the line, you're going to have to pay that back. And that's where I think you said a very smart thing about waiting to a certain point so you have all this documented, because they're going to, you have to, in any times like this, you're going to have to document your hardship, and you're going to have to prove that hardship. Regardless of it, people think that they could just say they're having a hardship and that's it. But the truth is that you have to document it. So regardless of whether it's residential, commercial, or or Wall Street money or whatever, you're still going to have to prove that you got a hardship. And then you got to also remember, regardless of the hardship, some way, somehow, you got to pay it back.
Yeah, ultimately. With interest, probably.
With interest.
Mario was saying about the SBA. We happened to get on a webinar, and they do have a phone number set up for, it's called the disaster relief number. I do know that right now the SBA doesn't have a program set up here in New Jersey for the small businesses yet. That was as of maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last night they
happened in Virginia.
They got $350 billion to make it happen last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah, right.
But the number, I could give everybody the phone number, if all that's ready, that has a small business. It's a 1-800-659-2955. That's the disaster relief number.
Say it once again.
Huh?
Say it once again.
1-800-659-2955. But I believe I also have the,
I just posted it in chat too for everybody to see.
that's the phone, the number. You can go to the SBA.gov what's that? This
/
/ I don't have my glasses on.
disaster.
NJSBA.gov / disaster. You can check out that program, look through there and see the programs they may offer for small business owners. So we did happen to get on that a few weeks. It was actually like, what, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago, before it all like blew up and everybody had to stay home. We actually stayed home and we did a webinar with the SBA.
Yeah, and I think Dan posted that it's slower down most of the time, and I think a lot of things like that will be slower down because they're going to be overwhelmed from the amount of people trying to contact, because everybody is looking for assistance or looking for a way to get help or just get their questions answered. It's one of the reasons why I brought you guys on tonight, was to answer some questions that people have, because a lot of people, like wholesalers, are trying to sell houses, people are trying to get deals, people in the middle of closings, people in auction houses, all these different things. And they're all unsure of what's going to happen. They're all
Yeah,
unsure.
no,
of
it's
what's going on.
horrible. It really, I mean, it breaks my heart because I don't think like our local market or a big portion of the local market fully even understands what's happening. Like it's almost it's sad. It really is. We made so much progress as far as financing, and really, I mean, slash pricing. You know, like really we're able to bring out a product that was affordable, you know, consistent. I mean, and just seeing what's happening right now and the amount of deals that just this month alone, this week alone, are gonna fall through.
Yeah.
It's disheartening.
Is that
you
just
know
because
what?
they can't get the financing?
Correct.
Or
Look, one of the main issues, right? It's always been for a little while. We kind of look the other way, and it's kind of what happens when any given bubbles is growing is credit, right? It's FICOs. I've watched this business go from 680 down to 600, about to go back up to 680. It's already up at 680, potentially even more. So my point is, I've spoken to every lender in New Jersey, and we've all come to the conclusion that only about 50%, maybe even less, of our pipelines have 680 plus. So some lenders, I mean, their average FICO is 620. So what that's going to do is in essence, it's I hate to say it in these terms, guys, but it really is going to put people out of business. Within the next couple of months, we're going to see the investor population shrink drastically. Again, in our lenders' rosters, only 50% of the people are able to qualify this point forward. Think about that. Think about those numbers. I mean, think about the magnitude of people that we're talking about here. So
have been flipping and have good
credit scores.
not good credit
Right.
scores. No, you have horrible
So
credit
good.
scores, but you've been doing it for years.
right, you have the
You
experience,
never
right?
cared about the credit.
Yeah.
You've been
Now,
using other people's money all the time.
right, all that is going to change. All that is going to change.
So it's kind of looking like it's going to go back to, like you said, around the 2010,
2009.
in between 2010 and 2012 when it comes to
started.
lending. Like when I first started, hard money rates were 12 to 14% and 2 to 4 points.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, I bought my first commercial building at 14.4.
Yeah.
True
Yeah.
story. We made it work.
Today.
for the
Hey.
other guys, for the title, because I was just thinking about this, Victor, and doing the titles and just doing it all online. How do you guys like figure out if somebody's giving you like false identification? If you guys aren't seeing them face to face, what kind of precautions do you take against that?
Yeah, so I mean this is uncharted territory for us. If once we move to the remote closings, right now the guidelines are it needs to be someone that basically that you know personally, which I guess that's hard to how do they really measure that? Or there needs to be someone in your presence that can vouch for you and say that they know that person. The last form is 2 forms of ID, and then you have to keep a recording of that whole process where they're signing things for a minimum of 10 years. But I mean, that's these are the things that reasons why this has not taken off so quickly, and now it's only now in this kind of like disaster scenario that it's being fast tracked.
So
Yeah.
when you say recordings, is that like something we're doing now? Like you'd be on the other
Yes.
side of a phone call and you're recording?
Yes, it would be kind of like a Skype program, but it wouldn't actually be Skype. It would be like a more secure software.
Right.
But yes, it would be in essence very similar.
Okay.
Derek, how about you? If you're taking somebody's house online and you're going to sell it for them, how do you know that it's really their house? What kind of precautions are you going to take against this
That's a good
kind of
question.
stuff?
That's
I'm just
That's
thinking
a good
about
question. But usually if we're going to go in and do an online video or something like that, we're the ones actually doing it. I'm not saying that I won't go in someone's home, because I actually will, but obviously, you know, we don't want it. You want to keep your social distancing. You want to, you know, you want to make an appointment where there's not a lot of family members during this time. This is going to pass. Eventually this will pass, you know, and we'll be on to the next thing. And yes, some people are going to go out of business. We know that. Some people are going to remain. Like Mario said, you know, interest rates are going to go up. We know that. Most likely that will happen, you know, most likely, especially in the fix and flip business, you know, I really see that happening, you know, but eventually we'll get back to some normalcy, you know, and yes, it's going to be survival of the fittest, you know, so we're going to be looking at new and improved ways of doing things, just like Victor's, you know, industry is, they've always been progressive and looking at new things, but actually pulling the trigger and doing it, you know, most of the industry is going to be forced to do things just a little bit differently, and maybe a lot differently in the future, you know. I mean, I don't agree with everything Mario says, you know, and you know,
We're all
no, I'm just putting it out there. I
disagree.
don't agree with everything Mario says, but
That's
then
okay.
on the other hand, I understand from his business perspective,
Right.
that's going to be, you know, that is an issue. That's an immediate issue for him, immediate issue for his industry. It becomes an issue for me as well, because a lot of the buyers of these properties happen to be fix and flip guys. You know, they got to come with hard money.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I sell a good majority. I actually sell more cash than hard money. So, you know, people I know are now pulling their money and out of their 401ks. They got to have some place to put it. You know, and so, you know, the way that I look at the industry is the way I've always looked at the real estate industry, and I've been in it 30 something years. You know, I've seen ups, I've seen downs, I've seen people go broke, I've seen people go blind, you know, but at the same time, I know that, you know, America's strong. We'll find a way to get past this, and we'll move past it at some point, you know. Things might change, so
Didn't I
everything, the way we're used to doing things might change.
I started this whole thing with not trying to bring a doomsday scenario, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It is what it is. I mean, I have to know
Yeah.
these things, and if
Yeah.
I'm on a platform to speak
Dude.
with people, look, know what I know, right? Hopefully,
I mean-
I'm wrong.
Mario, you actually stated the truth, because I've heard this from other hard money lending companies. I know a few that have already shut the doors, like you said, you know.
Yep.
And we're dealing in a whole different environment, you know, whole different environment.
You're right. Though we'll make it through this. That's one thing
We will.
that's certain.
We will.
You're gonna stay up, right? You're not shutting your door, Mario?
Look,
I'm sending
what I'm
people
doing
your
right
way.
now is doing something that I believe we should all be doing. Right. I'm stepping back.
Yep.
I'm stepping back, and I'm turning it into something positive. I'm enjoying my family, my kids, my boy, my girl, my wife. That's what I'm doing. I'm working. I'm got a home office. I got my entire staff working from home. We're doing Zoom meetings where some things are better, some things are horrible when it comes to I guess the logistics of running a company. But one thing I've learned in my short real estate experience, I guess, and just for the record, I've only been through a 2008 crash. But I learned a ton, and I made my bones during that crash. So this is not that. This is scarier. This is a bit more widespread. I mean, it's almost like literally like a virus. I mean, it's messed up. But it's not something that's gonna you know destroy this nation or this world for that matter. I think the U.S. has taken very smart steps by providing the stimulus. I think that the move they made that last night was incredibly important for this nation. The markets had a good reaction to it today already.
Mhm.
So I think we're going to be okay. I think that the single most important factor right now is from a real estate investor is, don't overbuy, don't overpay, don't overborrow, don't, just just relax until things pass through a little bit. From a personal standpoint, social distancing. I mean, look, there are nations that are starting to show a way to sort of control this thing, to beat it in many ways, and we just need to stick to doing the same. Stay home, stay away from people. Let's all collectively try to beat this thing. And as to the economy,
Cleaning time.
Yeah,
It's time to do some spring cleaning.
yeah,
Get it done
reinvent
early.
yourself.
Throw it out in the driveway and let A&A come and pick it up.
Yeah,
Then
look,
we'll talk to them.
understand your business, change your strategies. This is the time when I spoke to one of my investors a little earlier today, and just such a great guy, and he has a very positive outcome to life and everything, and we agreed that this is that time. This is the time when you actually have time. It's forced upon you, but you have the time to actually look back at your entire year, your entire 5 years of your career, and truly analyzing what it is that you've been doing, how it is that you've been doing it, and if God forbid you're in troubled waters right now, how the hell did you get here? And come out stronger from on the other end, fine-tuned, far sharper, more rested, more relaxed, and with a completely different outlook. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm working, yes, and I'm putting out all kinds of fires, as you guys could imagine. But I'm also working closely with my partners on really just reinventing this company in a way, really taking it to a new level. Maybe the idea is no longer to be a hard money lender. Maybe I can be a lender to lenders. There's a lot of really positive, there's a lot of really positive things that are in place that I wouldn't be thinking the way I'm thinking right now had this not happened. And between spending time with my family and being able to just relax a little bit, being able to think again, I think we're going to be great coming out the other end. I mean, we're liquid as well. The fact that we're not buying, we're saving a ton of money, and when this shift turns, I want to be the number one guy there with all kinds of money ready to buy and scoop out everything I can. That, however, is not now. So don't get those two confused.
So when it turns, you'll do 104 houses in 52 weeks this time.
Yeah, right. Do a whole bunch. But for now, I wanna know if I wanna think about the 50 houses for this year. I do. I wanna think about all this. I don't know if I want to do another 50 houses a week. Maybe this is the end of the houses for me, right? Maybe just focus on the bigger assets. The rentals have kept me safe through decades. Maybe this is it. So a lot of good positive things that can come out of this. For us as entrepreneurs, this is the chance that we never get. This is the chance that we always look for it and hope that we can actually come up with something great. Well, the fact that I'm home doing absolutely nothing else but not wanting to worry is actually helping me come up with great stuff. So there's a lot of good that's gonna come out of all this, and us as investors. I was talking to you guys know this lender. He's been around for years, and a very, very vocal guy, and he said to me, look, this is what's gonna happen. Every real estate investor in New Jersey should look at the immediate 2 investor friends that they have and tell them that one of them is not going to be in business within the next 2 months. It sent chills down my spine, because we're all in this circle together, and we all know each other. We've all come up with each other in many ways, and just knowing that the landscape is about to change should help you put things into perspective, because this is that chance, right? This is the time when either you make it or you don't. So as resilient as we are, this is when we put all that to work. This is when we reinvent ourselves. We improve, we create systems, we make our companies 10 times stronger, or we don't. And we fold and we're out. So this is what being an entrepreneur truly at its core is about.
Yeah.
You know, it's resilience. It's
You're not
being
moving
able
on
to
single families. What about like apartment complexes in other states? Would you guys still be willing to do those?
Yeah, look, there's I mean, as of right now, that financing is actually a lot more structured than the smaller houses. So yeah, I mean, that's still available. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Victor, do you do just title here in Jersey, all over Jersey, or?
Yes, only our main focus is Jersey. We have a partner that allows us to do transactions in New York, but our focus is Jersey.
Oh yeah, the other expensive state. Okay.
So Victor, I was going to say, because Mario's been summarizing a lot of stuff for us here, but my summary from your perspective would be, if you're a wholesaler, don't expect to close that deal in 30 days.
Yeah, I think, definitely if someone provides a previous title policy, that makes things much easier. And I do think we can actually still keep the same timelines if people are able to provide it. So I'm not too concerned about that. I thought you were going to ask me overall if I have the same view as Mario.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, Mario has been in business longer than me. So, I definitely respect his views. I haven't seen as much of the doom and gloom as him. In fact, for us, it's stayed really busy, but it's mostly, our clients are more retail and people just doing lots of refinances right now because of the rates. But, we do expect at some point, the longer this shutdown lasts, it's going to affect everything. And it's going to slowly dry up, everything. I don't think it'll be as bad as Mario say, but I think it definitely is good to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know. I kind of have a feeling I'm on the fence with it right now. I think it's going to be as bad as what Mario's saying. I think I'm just hoping it's not going to be, but I just think it's going to be that bad because, people are without jobs. They're not coming back. That's a fact. People are on the fence right now being laid off. Will they get their job back? 50% of those people won't. So there'll be more lost jobs that way. So I think, the doom and gloom had to be said. Good thing Mario said it, not me. But I just think facing reality is, going forward, what do we have to do? Being entrepreneurs, we all know what we have to do. Like Mario said, we got to dig into our business, see where we were, what we need to do, and move forward with it, and have a plan going forward of where we want to be a year out, 2 years out, because now things are going to be different. People that are new, they're going to have to rethink what they were doing, or they could just say, "Wow, good thing I didn't jump in." I was just about to jump in, and it didn't happen. So they could take a step back now and look at what experienced people are doing. With the knowledge, like I've known both of you guys for like 10 years,
Yeah, at least.
long time. And that's why I wanted you both on here. I know Victor, one of the first deals I did, we went through City Standard Data and got that information, and I just did that not too long on another deal. And, I remember, like I said to Mario, with the 52 houses in 52 weeks, and he came close to that number. That was just something that was out there that nobody even thought about doing. And Mario came up and said, "I'm doing 52 houses in 52 weeks."
I'll have that in my
Yep.
memory
I'll always remember that.
forever. It was the first thing I remember you ever saying when I first met you.
Yep. And you were adamant about it, and you almost got there. It was good, but it was just thinking outside the box, just doing those types of entrepreneurial thoughts. Like Victor, you were doing City Standard Data, was just quick overview of the title. Now you're into a title company where you run a title company and you have a partner in New York where you're doing that.
Co-owning.
So
We grow.
yeah, you grew, you changed what you do, and that's what you're doing now, and you love doing what you're doing, and you help people. We've had conversations on that. But it's, going forward is, things are going to change, things are going to be different, and that's how we handle it and how we grow and adapt to it. It's 8:00, so I'm going to go down the line. A&A, you got any final thoughts or comments you want to throw out there?
No, not really. It's just, I didn't think that everything that was being said, I didn't think it was as bad as it's being, because eventually it's going to start to affect us. You know, we're going to still have contractors and stuff like that that are doing work for homeowners, but will they hire us to do the demo and stuff like that? I don't know. You know,
What about spring cleaning?
well, spring cleaning is working with homeowners and stuff like that, and a lot of times it's a pain for us with
We're gonna have
homeowners,
to be more cautious with that.
and
Well,
we are going to have to be more cautious with homeowners because you don't know where they've been,
who they've
what
been
they've
touching.
been around and stuff like that. So,
Right.
you know,
Okay. Derek, what do you got?
Oh, I feel that this business is going to, it's going to contract for a while. We're going to go through what we're going to go through, and I believe that we'll have a surge because I mean the pipeline's just going to be filled up, and on top of that, there is going to be a large percentage of people that are going to wind up not making it through this, like Mario said, you know, and you know, and that's one thing I've seen it, you know, there's ups. One thing about the REO business and you know, I noticed there's a lot of agents that jump into REO business. Oh, I could do REOs, I could do REOs. And, you know, and then when the tide turns, they jump out of it. They wind up in regular residential real estate or just get out of the business. So a lot of people will get out of the business, and that leaves a lot more room for me, you know. So I'll be here when the deals are you know, when the deals are ready and when the investors are ready to invest. You know, there's always going to be someone out there. Cash always will work, you know, and these properties, when I put them up, they always say all cash, you know. So I'm sure that hopefully, you know, hopefully what'll happen is I kind of see that most likely, I think what Mario said is that, you know, values are going to start to come down because I don't see any other way for that to not happen. But I believe when it does, when this opens up, it's going to open up big time, you know. So I can wait that out, you know, and I just say to everybody, just stay safe, you know, and, you know, the world's going to take care of itself. We'll, you know, and one thing I always say, scared money doesn't make money. So you can't be scared. You got to be wise, but you can't be scared, you know, and know when you're making money and know when you're not. And this is a good time to figure out whether you made any money in the past. You know, it's a very good time to analyze your business and figure out, because a lot of times we're running around. I know these investors are running around there fixing this and building that and knocking down this, and they don't even know whether they made money. And if you don't know whether you made money,
True.
most likely you lost money. So, you know, that's right now. Take inventory of the industry you're in. You know, learn from it. Don't be scared. You know, and I wish everybody the best of luck. I'll be there, so don't worry about it. Derek Logan, Villa Homes. I'll be selling homes until they got to put me under. We'll be good.
All right.
It'll all work out.
Thanks,
Okay.
Derek.
Thanks, Derek. Victor, what do you got for us?
No, I think we've said it all. You know, one thing that I love that everyone's been saying, especially Mario started, was about using this time to reinvent ourselves.
Yep.
And you know, definitely, yeah, it's been so busy. We're so busy in our day to day, just trying to grow our businesses, that we rarely find time to step back and, you know, look at the bigger picture. So definitely, you know, something that we should take advantage of.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, Mario, what do you got
Let's
for
have
us?
another one of these in like 6 months.
Okay.
And let's just maybe replay little blurbs of this one and what we thought was coming versus what actually happened. And I wish us the best. I wish us the best. I'm like always, I mean, look, I'm a phone call away for just about anything, business or personal. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and thank you for just allowing us to you know get in, just for getting to know each other. I mean, I really I appreciate what you guys are doing on these type of platforms, and I appreciate the leg up that you guys gave Arca Capital coming up for sure. Same thing with you, Victor. I mean, your work has been flawless on my own pipeline and my client's pipeline, and we've never we have nothing but love and appreciation for you guys' work.
Thank you, Voya. Likewise.
And you know, I hope that yeah, I hope that we know, you know, that a lot of us come out on top, come out stronger. And I hope that that we're again still in business and talking to each other in 6 months. And thank you guys for everything. And I'm here. I'm home office, but I'm home and I'm accessible. So
Like the rest of us, let's all get organized.
You got
Anthony's final thought?
no here. You had something else, Anthony, or no?
No, that's
No,
about
he's
it.
got nothing. Okay, you got anything you want to say, or?
I would just want to say something that my friend Monica, you know, our partner at the Airbnb, and I keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, and it seems to be helping tremendously. Everything's working out perfectly. It's, you'd be surprised, you say those words and the miracle comes that you need.
you know what my mom says? I mean, she's been saying this since since I was little, as far back as I remember. She always says that God's timing is perfect. You know, like every time something went sideways for me when I was little, I'd be like, you know, my mom would be like, yeah, you know, do better, improve, fix it. But at the end of the day, you know, God's timing is just perfect. So that's it. Like, deal with that. Like,
Yeah.
when I was little, like
Everything's working out perfectly. So
yeah. And, you know, there
Thank
was
God.
control what you can and just let God, let the universe, let a higher power take care of everything else. Just do everything right that you can and within your power. But things like what's happening right now, I mean, this is beyond anyone's. You know, this is we are just the little peanuts in this picture, and we have no control over what's happening really, other than not touching each other. So, you know, why lose our minds over this? This will come and go, and the better and stronger we are on the other end, the better decisions we make throughout the process, the better off we're gonna be. So, anything you guys need, call me, reach out.
Okay, thank you. I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody. Great information. Thank you guys for being here. And let's see what we can do in a week or so. We'll get in touch again.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody, all the panelists. Like Mary said, I love all you guys. I mean, I've known you guys for a long time, and we will be doing business of some sort together in the future. You know, depending on what we all do, if we stay what we're doing, we're going to change. We'll still do business. We'll still be in communication. We're still going to do what we do in retrospect. I'm planning on putting more webinars together over the next few weeks with different people in different parts of the industry to get more information out to people as I talk to them and find out good points and give information to people of what they need to know. Forbearance is one issue. Foreclosures is another issue. You know, they're not doing evictions. They're not doing foreclosures. You know, there's a ton of information from different, what I call experts, people that have been doing what they do for a long time out there. And I want to, I'm working on getting them on a call. You know, this was a bigger panel. I was trying to get more people on. They were just too busy dealing with what they have to do. But my goal was to get people information so they either can focus on getting everything in order and being prepared, or just taking a step back, like Mario said, and focusing on what they need to do to change. I hope everybody continues to stay healthy and is well and stays that way. Take a break. Don't rush out there. There's nothing to go out there in the world for right now that you got to be running out there every day, going to a store or traveling around. Keep yourself from getting sick. It's an ugly situation in a lot of places. You know,
Time to clean the attic.
Time to clean house. Focus on yourself. Take a step back, like Mario said. You know, focus on things like Derek said, and then just prepare yourself for what you want to do in the next turn when it comes. You know, we'll get through the virus. Things are going to be different, but there's going to be opportunities out there. And it's just, where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? You know, and focus on that and make sure you go forward from there. So again, thanks everybody. And I hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you, guys.
All right, see you guys.
Stay safe.
Later, Victor. I'll see you, man.
See you, man.
And any of the attendees, if you want, reach out to us.
I
We are
did
still
write
doing
down
this.
somebody's number. I know somebody had said reaching out to us. So
Yes.
I wrote a number down.
We'll call you.
I will give you a call.
We are still up and running, so everyone give us a call.
Time to clean the attic, stick
Yeah.
everything out, right?
Hey, we'll go in there and clean it for you. It doesn't matter.
Just, yeah, they could go sit in the basement.
Yeah. Adios.
All right. Later, guys.
That was,
Thanks. Be safe, everyone. I got it, the phone number and all.
James.
Okay, dokie.
James is good, James.
We'll be reaching out to you. We have the phone number. We'll reach out to you tomorrow during the day. Because you'll be sitting home doing nothing anyway. All right, guys. Have a good one.
I don't know.